I'm life and business coach Samantha Sifring, and this is the Online Business Building Mamas podcast, where you learn how to build a wildly successful business from home while raising kids. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. Today, we have a fun topic, and this was very much inspired by clients and some recent coaching that I was doing. I had a client come on a Mama to CEO call, and she was asking me about this thing that she thinks of as like the shift. And I think that a lot of us have this idea of the shift. So here's what I mean by that. A lot of times you will look at like success stories and that kind of thing of other people who have achieved big goals, who have built their businesses and like accomplished amazing things. You hear these stories, and somewhere in this story, the person will often reference the shift or like this major experience that they had, this mental shift that they had where everything changed. And so when you are trying to create your own success and achieve your own goals, what can happen a lot of the time is that you hear these stories and you think, oh, I need to figure out how to have the shift so I can also be successful. And I think that this can lead to crazy stuff. I think this can lead to overconsumption of all kinds of stuff, books, podcasts, courses, like following every coach that you possibly can. I think that this is a huge thing that plays into shiny object syndrome. Like if you think about like you're always looking for like the thing that's going to be the answer. I think that this can lead to a lot of you overspending, like way too much investing. And you know, I love for all of you to invest in your businesses. And I think it's a really great way to help your business grow. So I'm not against investing in your business. What I'm calling out is over-investing, where you just keep buying more and more and more, and you're not really getting an ROI from the things that you're buying. So often that is coming from this idea that there's like the shift, there's like the answer that once you find this thing, everything's going to change and everything's just going to like click and work for you. And I want this episode to debunk the idea that there is some magical shift outside of you that you have to keep chasing. I want to debunk this idea that if you just get like the right thought or aha moment or epiphany or whatever, it's going to change everything and it's all going to work. This is not how things work. And I want you hearing that, like me saying that to you, I want this to land as like a relief that you can stop the chase, you can stop like feeling inadequate or like you're missing something. Like you can just recognize that there is not something outside of you that you have to continue to hunt for and find that's going to allow you to have the success that you want to have. I feel like that's like the whole goal that I have for my whole business and my whole podcast is to just help you relax and realize that you have what you need and you have so much wisdom. And of course, there's things that you can learn from other people. I don't want to diminish that. I think there's so much value in having mentors, in having a network, in learning from other people, different strategies and hearing what works for them. Like those things are so good. But there aren't these like magical things other people have that you don't. They might have some skills or some knowledge, right? Like I have this event coming up with Kristen that I'm doing. Yeah, we're going to be teaching some like tactical things. Like if you don't know how to do paid advertising or when to do it, yes, We have something you don't have, right? But I want you to know that there's not this like magical shift like at the end of a rainbow that you're never going to find and you're going to spend your whole life looking for. That's what I'm getting at here. So what I think of as the shift is, yes, there is this initial moment where you have the aha. You have a shift in your perspective. You see something in a different way. And this is a magical moment. Like these moments where it's like a mind blown moment, like that feels so good. I feel like so many of us in the coaching industry, the personal development world, we like chase these highs of like the aha moment. It just feels so amazing and motivating to have these moments where we see everything differently. It just feels like a whole new door in your mind has been opened up to you. This is amazing. And what you may have noticed is that you have this experience, this happens, and then you kind of go back to normal. The excitement wears off. And then you're like, well, I thought that that was the shift, but I guess it wasn't. So here's what the shift is. It's that you have this one moment of your perspective shifting or changing. And then you have a period of time where you have to intentionally come back to that shift and make that shift and build it up like a habit in your mind. So the way that we do this, and this is actually really cool if you don't know anything about the brain and like brain science, you're going to be amazed at how our brains work. But there's this concept, this term called neuroplasticity. And what this means is that the brain, like your actual human brain, has the ability to change in both structure and function in response to experiences that you have. So literally inside your brain, the like shapes of your brain and the way that things are working in there and like how your brain works, all of those things can change. What? This is crazy. Isn't that amazing? Like some of you already know this and you're like, duh, I know that. But I feel like I never stopped being amazed by it. Like I was a psychology major and then I got a master's in counseling. Like I learned a lot about the brain and this still boggles my mind. Like we can change a physical thing in our body. What? How? It's amazing. So what's extra amazing is that we are in control of that. So this isn't just like, oh, you know, something happens to you and then your brain responds. You can actually rewire your own brain. And I think that this is the coolest thing about coaching. I think that this is why coaching is so effective and so powerful and why I love to get coaching and why I love to coach, because we have this ability to change our brains. So the way that our brain has been up until now, the way that we have been approaching the world, looking at the world, responding to the world, the way that our brain has functioned to create the things that we have and like achieve our goals or not up until now, we have the power to change that from the inside. It's amazing. So because of all of this, because I've had these clients who have been like, I need to have this shift right now. Where is this shift? What's going on? Because I know that the way to actually have this shift is this daily act of rewiring your brain, I created a brand new version of the 90-day challenge. So the 90-day challenge is a challenge that comes with a journal that I created inside Mama to CEO. I think it was last year. And what my original intention was to share with all of my clients some thought work, some belief building work that was really powerful for me. So it was like some exercises that have been really powerful for me that I put in a book for all of you that you could download and do on your own. But as I started thinking more and more about this idea of like the shift, like this like big thing, and neuroplasticity and like how our brains actually work to create change from the inside, I started having so many ideas to change the 90-day challenge. So I have revamped it. We are going to do the 90-day challenge 2.0 in Mama to CEO starting on July 1st. And it is incredible. It's going to be walking you through all of these different like daily things to do to, first of all, create these shifts in your mind by doing these smaller habit building shifts. Like that's essentially what you're doing. And I heard this analogy once that it's like in your brain, there's like these paths that you could almost imagine as like a rut for a wheelbarrow. And I don't do a lot of yard work, but I definitely am not using wheelbarrows anymore. But like when I was a kid, my grandparents had me do a lot of yard work and I was using that wheelbarrow and I was very familiar with that rut for the wheelbarrow. But if you aren't, like it is just, I feel like it's just such a strong like association I have of like this deep rut and the wheel goes in the rut and like trying to get the wheel out of the rut is impossible. Like you need some superhuman strength. And that's kind of what it's like in our brain. So we have these connections in our brain that are like these really deep ruts, and getting our like mental wheelbarrow out of those ruts to create new ruts, like new connections, it takes a lot of repetition. It takes that habit building, that consistent coming back to the work and continuing to do it. So that's why I set up this book to take 90 days. And this is kind of arbitrary, but I think 90 days is a really great measure of time in your business. I think a lot of times we have expectations that we should get the results we want in a month. I don't know why. Like the month is not magic. This is just like based on what? The moon? Man, you're really going to judge me for not really understanding how we have months. Okay, but I will just say as a total aside, the reason I'm questioning it, because I was like, yeah, it is the moon that makes a month. But here's why I'm questioning it. Because there's months where there's 2 full moons. What's that about? Hopefully somebody will come into my DMs and explain this to me. But regardless, even if I'm an idiot about months, you know what I am definitely not an idiot about is that a month is the most arbitrary thing. It does not mean anything. And so if you are holding yourself to this standard of I should be able to accomplish this thing in a month, like why? Why should you be able to accomplish this thing in a month? It's just a very made up, arbitrary measure of time. And what I have really noticed with myself, with my clients, is that when we have one of these shifts and then we work towards that habit formation and that rewiring of our brain, it can take 90 days, 3 months. It can take 6 months to really start seeing shifts and momentum and really starting to see the payoff of what you've done. And I love the analogy of like a garden, a vegetable garden, that kind of thing. Like you plant all of this, like all the seeds or all the little plants that you got from the nursery, you plant this stuff and it does not automatically give you the amazing bounty that you want. It takes a while. It takes several months sometimes. So I want you to go into it with this mentality of patience, but it doesn't mean that you won't see any progress. So like right now, I've been looking at my garden, and we have a little vegetable garden, and we have some like fruits in there. We have an apple tree. Like we've got like some stuff that grows in our yard. And it's not like it goes from 0 to 100 overnight, right? There's this slow progress and momentum over time. I just noticed the other day that I have a bunch of like adorable little green baby tomatoes on my tomato plants, and I am very excited about those. I've got a bunch of teeny tiny little baby apples on the apple tree. This is so fun to watch, right? Like it doesn't mean that it's ready. So if I was like, well, I want an apple pie right now, maybe I should just cut this tree down and quit. No, that's really ridiculous. But I look at it and I'm like, hey, like probably in like September, I'll have a great apple pie, right? So I want you to be able to see that kind of thing in your business too. So in addition to the daily thought work where I am walking you through rewiring your brain and helping you to build those new pathways of belief in the goal you want to achieve, I also have you doing measurements of momentum indicators. So I have you measuring different things like your audience size and how many people are reaching out to you and how many calls are getting booked and how many sales you're making and the money that you're earning and any other indicators that it's working. Because for each business, there's going to be some like custom indicators as well. So I have you think about all those things. We measure them at the very beginning of the 90 days. And then every single month along the way, you do a check-in and you do that measurement so that you can really see, okay, I for sure wanted to make $5,000 in the first month and I didn't. And instead of being like, well, I didn't hit my goal, guess this doesn't work, I'm out, you can see that there's momentum indicators. And I think that that is such a powerful way to keep yourself motivated along the way. I have a friend who is just getting back into weightlifting, and we were talking about like her progress with it and how it's going. And she was like, I'm definitely not weighing myself for anything right now because I know that like that scale is going to be creeping up as I'm building muscle. And she was like, and I also like don't really see like results on the outside of my body. Like I don't feel like anything's changing. But what she does notice is that she has been able to increase her weight at the gym. So she is seeing indicators that it's working. She's seeing those momentum indicators. She's seeing progress over time, which helps her to know that things are moving, things are going in the right direction, and you need that in your business as well. So that is something that I have in there, something that we'll be coaching on a lot in Mama to CEO. And the final thing is a daily activity tracker. I am so excited about this because I am always thinking about what can I give my clients that is going to make their success inevitable. Like if there is a way where it can be foolproof, like plug my client into this thing and they will for sure get results no matter their personality type, their niche, their business, who their audience is, what their audience size is, like any of this stuff, no matter what their circumstances are, how much time they have to work their business, like whatever it is, whatever the circumstances are that they're dealing with, like how can I create something that will make them successful no matter what? This is like the ultimate goal of my brain at all times, that I am like always solving for this. So anytime I have clients who are like stuck in anything, I'm like, okay, how do we overcome this? What's the answer for this? Like my brain's just always cracking these codes and like solving these puzzles, it feels like, because I mean, that's my job. It's my job for my clients to get results, right? Like that is why I have this business. That is what I am here to do, is to help you all succeed. So I was thinking, if I have you in here in the 90-day challenge doing this mental work to shift how your brain interacts with the world, sees the world, shift the beliefs that you have, I could also give you some daily activities that if you did these activities the majority of the time, this would make your success inevitable. Like you would for sure make more money by the end of the 90 days. So I came up with 5 things that I believe if you did 3 to 4 of these things most days. So I want to give you like wiggle room to be a human with an actual life. It's not about being a robot. It's not about perfectionism, but just like this general guide, like kind of like going to the gym, right? Back to the weightlifting friend, like she will have success even if it's not like perfect consistency of going to the gym, right? Like she doesn't have to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday forever and ever for the rest of her life with no breaks, no vacations, no sick time to get results. Like if she's just kind of like averaging twice a week, she's going to see results, right? So I set this up so that if you're doing most of these things, most days, you will for sure have business growth. I knew that I wanted to give you some tasks like that where it was like, yes, these are the things that will move things for you. And then I like spent some time really thinking about what would those things be, thinking about my business growth, thinking about my clients' business growth, because I've worked with like hundreds of clients now, and I have multiple former clients who are millionaires now, and I have helped a lot of people to grow their business. So I really thought about what are those core things? What are those most important things? So I have a little checklist each day as well for you to be tracking those things. So this is the new 90-day challenge, and it's all about rewiring the brain. It's all about building your belief in a new thing. It's all about facilitating that big shift and also facilitating growth in your business. So not just like changing beliefs for the sake of changing beliefs, but changing beliefs specifically to grow your business. So this is how the brain works. This is what neuroplasticity is. This is how I'm supporting you to harness your own neuroplasticity, your own ability to change your brain so you can change your results in your business. And I already talked about this a bit during our last launch of Mama to CEO. And what I wanted to say on this episode that my team does not know, they're going to find out when they hear it. But what I really felt, I got the workbook redone. Like I went through, I rewrote the whole workbook, created all these new things. I reformatted it and was just looking at it and thinking how amazing it was. And I thought, there's people who need to be part of the 90-day challenge, who want to be part of the 90-day challenge, who are not in Mama to CEO or Simple Scaling Mastermind yet, but want to be. They want to be a part of this. They don't want to wait, because this 90-day challenge is going to be July, August, and September, and our next opening isn't until September. So if you join in September, you really won't get to be part of this 90-day challenge and this kickoff of our 2.0 edition of the 90-day challenge. So here's what I wanted to do. For anybody who is listening to this leading up to July 1st, you hear this, you're like, oh my gosh, I want to be in this quarter 3 of the year edition of 90-day challenge 2.0. I don't want you to have to wait. So if that is you, reach out to us, Samantha@samanthasiffering.com. Pretty simple. Or you can DM me on Instagram at SamanthaHMS. If you are like, I need to be in, let us know. We will get you in. I don't want anybody to have to be waiting and missing out on this. I just redid the book, got it printed, was looking at it and was just thinking like, this is so valuable. This is going to explode the results that we have in Mama to CEO, like the kind of business growth that we're going to have coming out of the 90-day challenge 2.0 at like the very beginning of fall when we are finishing this up at the end of September. It's going to be wild. I can't wait to share the results with you. I can't wait. Seriously. So for any of you who are listening to this, who are like, I need to be a part of that, reach out. We'll get you in. You don't have to wait. And for everyone who's in Mama to CEO, I hope you are really excited. I'm going to be going live in the group. I'm going to walk you through the workbook and how it all works and answer any questions that you have. So you're going to be able to start really strong. We're going to have the PDF in there soon. So you'll be able to print off a copy, just like me, have that hard copy. And it's going to be really, really fun and really incredible for your brain and your business. So I can't wait. I will see you all there. If you like this podcast, I want to invite you to coach with me over in my program, Mama to CEO. There's you, and there's the consistent income you want to make in your business, and I help you remove everything standing in between. It's lifetime access for mastering your marketing, sales, time, and everything else you need to have the business and life you really want. Whether it's making your first 1,000 or 100,000, I can help you do it. To join, go to mamatoceo.com, MAMATOCEO.com.